Welcome back to In the Garden. I am joined with Austin from Grange Co-op, and today we're talking about tomato care when your plant is at this size. As you can see, he's gotten really big. We planted this guy a while ago and he is just completely sprouted. So Austin, how do we take care of tomato plants when they get to this size?
So first off, what we're looking at here is I'm noticing no yellowing of the leaves, which indicates there are no deficiencies going on, magnesium, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, any of that. So we're looking great. Second thing I'm looking at is our fruit production, how many fruit we have on here. There are plenty of tomatoes, none of them are showing any signs of rot, which is great, so there's plenty of calcium being absorbed into this plant. It is very healthy with all the foliage, definitely tells me there's a healthy amount of nitrogen in here. With the amount of tomatoes and blooms I'm seeing, plenty of phosphorus, and seeing as they are growing by the size daily, there's plenty of potassium to transport those nutrients. So overall, I would say this plant is very healthy.
Wow, well go us. So what about these products we have down here? How do we use these to take care of plants this size?
So tomatoes are a very, very nutrient loving plant. They're gonna like a lot of nutrients throughout their growing stage, but they're gonna want different nutrients throughout different stages of its life. At this stage, we need to quit giving it any nitrogen so we can focus on solely fruit production and blooms. So that's where this liquid fertilizer here is gonna come in handy. This is a concentrate, it's fully organic. You're gonna mix it with water it in maybe every 2 weeks. And this is going to give it a nice phosphorus and potassium boost to really help these fruit grow.
And the measurements are on the box as
well? The measurements are around the back, yes.
All right. And then what about these other plants or products we have here?
So with a lot of grape tomatoes, such as Roma tomatoes, are very susceptible to rot. Blossom end rot is what it's called. It's caused by a lack of calcium, or the plant's just not able to pull that calcium up. And like I said, it's mainly grape tomatoes that are susceptible to it. So what we can do is we can take a high calcium fertilizer, such as this Yield Boost, mix it with water, either in a sprayer, do a foliar treatment, which means we're going to spray the leaves. The nutrients will be absorbed through the leaves rather than the roots. That, or we do a root drench and the nutrients are absorbed through the roots, and it should solve our problem.
All right, so with a plant this big, what about trimming or cutting up some of the dead plants? How often do we need to do that? So
a lot of the time you can prune the nodes. The nodes grow in what is called the armpit of the plant, and those a lot of the time just grow a lot of veg. They don't really do much fruit production, so they're just kind of nutrient and energy suckers. That's all they're doing, is they're stealing some of our energy away, so it definitely won't hurt to snip some of those off.
All right, and then obviously tomatoes are ready to get plucked when they're red and fully bloomed, correct?
Nice and red and a nice little kind of squishy touch, not super squishy or they may be overripe.
All right, well, is there anything else, Austin, you want to highlight about taking care of tomato plants at this size? So
there's one more thing we need to talk about, and that is the heat and what it does to tomato plants. Tomato plants typically shut down at 98 degrees, meaning, they completely shut down. They don't uptake water, they don't uptake nutrients, they don't grow their fruit, they don't grow any more veg, they just completely shut down. So what we can do to prevent that is, number one, we can plant it in an area where it gets 5 hours of morning to mid-noon sun, where it's not super hot, in an afternoon shade. Or we can substitute some shade by getting shade cloth, putting it above. It'll allow for adequate light, but it will keep the overall temperature of the plant cooler, thus not shutting the plant down.
All right. Well, if you guys want to learn how to take care of your tomato plants when they get to this big size, you guys can head to a Grange Co-op store to learn from the experts. Or, of course, you can head to our website at KDRV.com to learn more information. But thanks so much for joining us in the garden.